So if you want to, you can go in and use a capsule for that, but I like to have something with a little bit better edge flow, and so I'll just actually use a cube for that. So let's bring in a cube, just because I like the edge flow of this. Now the cube is going to be smooth, so let's kind of bring this shape down a little bit. And just match up the look of it there, and then also over here, kind of bring this into position. And it's also going to be just rotated slightly. So let's do that. Let's kind of rotate this around a little bit. Okay, so if I just grab a subdivision surface and drop the cube into it, you can see it gives us this sort of round shape, which is, it's close to what I want, but not really exactly what I'm looking for. And so let's kind of bring this in, and we can change the size of our cube here. And I just want to match up the top kind of contour that we have there. Okay, now I want to start to bring this detail back towards the back a little bit more. So instead of having it completely rounded, so let's go ahead and make this editable, and let's use our knife. So we'll grab the knife. We're using a loop. I'm just going to put a loop right in there. Now it's gone a little bit too far, and so let's grab those points all the way through. I just want to pull those forward a little bit. Okay, and then we can take the points at the back and maybe scale those in the X to get a little bit closer to what we want. Now the front, we can do the same sort of thing here. I'll pull that in. Now it's looking pretty good except for the bottom. The bottom is not flat at all, and so what we can do is start to add that detail in here. So on the bottom, let's take our, let's actually look here and see where that hits. Okay, so let's take this bottom part, and I want to grab those points and just kind of move them down here. And then I want to take the knife and start to add some lines in here. So I'll add a loop here, and right in there, right at the top of that, the black sole of the shoe. And then let's also add one kind of right in here, and then one right along the bottom, and then one right here and here. Now let's select those polygons right in the middle. So we're going to do a loop selection, and we're going to select those polygons right in the center of that new area that I created. So the ones right in there. And now we're just going to extrude those in. Let's keep an eye on the corner there. Let's just do an extrude into the surface slightly. So I think that looks good. And now we get something that looks a little bit more like a shoe. Now, I don't necessarily want to have the low res be this giant block. And so what we can do is also just subdivide this and bake it into the geometry. So if we take this, and I'm just going to select all the polygons, we can come in, and you can't see it there, so let's come in here and subdivide. We'll go into the options. So I want to do one subdivision, and I want to smooth it. And so what that'll do is actually just go ahead and bake that in as geometry. So now we have a little bit better low-res shape to work with. Okay, we can still go in and add it to the subdivision surface to add the final smoothing, but now we have more control over the shape of it. So if I wanted to come in and grab the front of this, I could, and I could add a little bit of shape to it by maybe tapering it down just a little bit. Or if I wanted to grab the back part of the foot and come in and just kind of scale it down a little bit, then I can do that too. Let's scoot the whole thing over just a bit. Maybe rotate it a hair. And so we can kind of spend some time matching that up with the geometry there, but that's the main idea. Okay, so you can take your polygon object, your polygon cube, which gives us a nice edge flow for this. You can go in and add the edges that would make the certain edges sharp when you smooth it. For instance, the bottom of the foot and the seam here. And then instead of just adding it to a subdivision surface, you can go ahead and actually subdivide that geometry, which will give you more points to work with. And then for the final smoothing, you can come in and add it to a subdivision surface. Okay, so something like that. Now, the next thing that we want to do is add a little bit of detail up here on the head. So we'll create a simple kind of eye slit